One of our strengths here at the hospital is that we are very much engaged in research, and this is about generating tomorrow's treatment that will drive better outcomes for these babies and their families. And one of our strengths in our research here is our focus on brain outcomes, how we can identify babies at risk of injury, how can we prevent brain injury, and then ultimately, if there is brain injury there, is to actually replace the function of the brain using stem cells. Imagine if you're a baby, you've got your whole life ahead of you. So it's so fundamentally critical that we get better outcomes for these sick and tiny babies.
We admit preterm babies from 23 weeks gestation all the way up to term and post-term and keep them until they're well enough to go home. A lot of people think babies get born a little bit early, they get put in a shoebox and they wait until they're ready to go home and then they go home. So it's a big shock for some people to see the sort of size of baby and the degree of illness we deal with every day. All the organ systems are really immature when they are born so early, so you've got to look at the brain, the heart, the lungs, the gut, and there are ways to manage those that we're getting better at all the time to minimise the impact that our medications and treatments have on this very fragile developing baby. We really support everything for these babies, from their breathing to their feeding sometimes, to their hearts. We try and look after their brains. So it's a very sort of specialised area, and that's why I think we are so successful, is we all really care about what we're doing.
Hi, I'm Joanna and this is my daughter Jasmine. She was born at 27 weeks gestation. She came out with a full head of hair, eyebrows, little fingernails, everything was fully formed. She was, beautiful actually. And I saw her for about 2 seconds and they shut her out because of the risk of bleeding on the brain, so blood clotting and all that sort of stuff. They've had to take her into an ICU and they put artery lines through her and feeding lines and all that sort of stuff and breathing. And I wasn't even able to touch her or anything like that. The day that she was born, being upstairs in the maternity ward and listening to all the babies crying and me being in a room by myself and not being able to hold my child, that was probably the hardest one. Being in this sort of situation, you never, ever, ever see anything like this unless you're actually here. I'd never heard of this place until I was here. This is you in a situation where your child was born before it was supposed to be born, and them doing everything they can in their power to make sure that they're healthy and happy and they survive.
So straight after they were born, we went to Brisbane. I got to see them for about 5 minutes because they were just too fragile. Like, every day is a roller coaster. I was absolutely freaking out, thinking, oh my God, I just lost my baby. And they were just, it's fine, it's okay, and they're just doing what they need to do. When you finally do get that first child, you realise that, it's well worth it, you know what I mean? They did everything that they could to keep them alive. Now they're alive, you can hold them.
Please get on board and support the Butterfly Ball and give as much as you can, because without them, little miracles like these guys wouldn't be here.
I'd like to thank you for supporting the Butterfly Ball tonight. Every cent raised tonight will go a long way in making a small preterm, very ill baby's life better.
Brings aches to all our hearts when you see a sick baby in front of you. Your investment in the Butterfly Ball will bring benefits to the babies of the future.
She would not be here if they didn't have that, and if they didn't do the research and they didn't do the study and other parents didn't get involved in it, then she wouldn't be here with me today.